Okay, perfect. So I'll minimize this here. Okay, so today we're going to go over all of the embossers that we have, kind of a little bit of story on each one, what each one is uh, used for, um, what they can all do, and kind of help you decide what embosser is right for you. So, a couple of things. We have some more webinars this week. More of a deeper dive tomorrow and Wednesday. So tomorrow we are going to have a webinar on the Columbia, the Delta, and the Rogue, all grouped together. This is the newer generation of our embossers. It's a new technology that was started with the Columbia. It allows um, a higher DPI, higher resolution in printing. But all of these embossers are kind of in the same family, so we group these together. And then on Wednesday, we're going to go over the Elite and the Premier, and then also the Spot Dot and the Embraille. Um, these are um, these are kind of the older technology, still super reliable, but it fits in a very specific place. These are our production embossers, our specialty embossers. Um, so they have kind of a unique place for a use case for them as well. So if you're interested here towards the end of the webinar, I'll put in a link to each one of those. So you can sign up for those webinars to show up tomorrow. Both of them are at 9 a.m. Pacific. So we have Rogue, Columbia, Delta tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, Elite, Premier, Spot Dot, and Embraille. So starting off, let's cover what all of the View Plus embossers can do, because we are known for tactile graphics, but all of our embossers can print tactile graphics. All of them can print Braille. All of them do multi-dot heights. So that's up to 8 different dot heights. And that is not just the View Plus embossers. It's all of the embossers that we manufacture. So if you work with, if you have like the APH Pix Blaster, that is one of our embossers. So that one also has the multi-dot height, also Braille, also tactographics. We also have we work with Irie, so the Braille sheet, the Braille track. Those also have the multi-dot height. I think it was last year or the year before, we started to come out with the color patterns, which we'll go over in this webinar. The difference between the multi-dot heights and the color patterns. All of them are capable of doing both of those. Any embosser you buy ships with the current version of the Tiger software suite as a perpetual license. So you'll have the Tiger software suite for the entire life of the embosser. Each embosser is compatible to print on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Um, and the other thing, this is the big thing, is you can print from any software. We have set these up. I know the industry calls these embossers, but we have set these up to be printers. You don't need a specific software to be able to do that. So if you're comfortable using Word or Excel or like the Adobe suite, we know people use like CorelDRAW. Um, we have uh, we have an architect that we know of that uses CAD programs, which is really nice. If you have a print button on your program that you're using, you can print to any of our embossers. They are true printers, not just embossers. They will do the embossing function, but you get the printing capability as well. Um, that's one thing we really strive for with the View Plus embossers is ease of use. Ton of people grew up using the Microsoft Office suite, so we try to specialize in that. But there's a ton of options out there. You don't need to learn something new. All of the embossers that have a USB port on them. So basically, any of the embossers that we've built in the last 10, I'm going to say at least 10 years, are are capable of using the Tiger Box, which allows Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. The reason I say a USB port is we have been making Braille embossers for so long that they used to have the serial port on them, which is the little it's the longer port with all the little pins in it for computers a long time ago. So we've been making embossers for a very long time. Um, and the only reason those are not compatible is just because the Tiger box plugs in via USB. Um, Obviously, free driver and firmware upgrades with every embosser. We do upgrades pretty frequently. We've got an in-house team here that does the software design, the software engineering, the hardware engineering, and so we're always making changes, making things better, improvements, and all of those upgrades, as far as like drivers, firmware, software for the version that you have with your embosser, all of those are free. They can all print math, science, music. We've worked with a couple programs like um, Bill with Dancing Dots for doing music. Um, so it's one of the fun things about having a V Plus embosser is they're very versatile. Um, all embossers come with a standard 12-month warranty, but you can extend that up to 5 years. We'll go over that here on the next slide. Um, but let's say this is all the things V Plus embossers can do. Um, but let's say you're coming from one of the competitors, um, and you're really used to using Duxbury, or you're used to using TactileView or Braille 2000. All of these are great programs. These are embosser specific programs. Um, if you're comfortable with those, you can also use those with the V Plus embossers. So you get everything that kind of the industry standard has of Duxbury, Braille 2000, TactileView. You get all of that plus everything else that has a print button. So it's kind of it's a pretty easy choice if you're not sure what you want to use the embosser for yet. We make that easy. So the extended warranty, um, it's a great option because uh, we have that bundled with a maintenance plan, which is what most people use that for. We have embossers that um, we'll have people that'll upgrade from something, and I'll talk to them, and they'll say that they're still using embosser. I've been here since 2016, and they'll mention they're upgrading from an embosser that they have since before I started. I've been here for almost 10 years, and it's amazing to see how long these embossers last. So with the extended warranty on it, the maintenance package is probably the most utilized with that. That comes with you can send the embosser in. Um, you can do we do a firmware upgrade on it. We do a factory cleaning and inspection. With embossers, there is paper dust that develops over time. So we remove all the paper dust and debris out of the machine. We lubricate all the moving parts. Some of the embossers have an emboss head that need alignment, and so we will realign the emboss head. We clean out all the electronic components. Um, and then we test it. Some of them have drive belts in there, so we'll test the condition, make sure the tension's right on the drive belts, um, and we do this very quickly. We've got a very quick process. We see a lot of these over the summer. So if you work for the school district, it tends to be during the summer months. We get a lot of them sent back to us. Or just clean it up, put it back in brand new working order. We usually have about a 5-day turnaround, and then we ship it back to you. So it's a great little package there. And aside from that, probably the uh, least used part of the extended warranty is the actual warranty part. It is electronics, and it does have some moving parts. So occasionally things do go wrong, but that's rare. And so with that, uh, we can fix the unit back to top working condition. We replace or repair all parts needed. And again, we have that average of about 5 days a turnaround to get the embosser back to you. So um, with this, if you are concerned about buying an embosser and making sure that it stays maintained, if you go buy a car, a lot of times new cars you can get the maintenance pack with it and things like that. So that's very similar with this of just ensuring that your purchase is well taken care of. So I had talked about a couple webinars that we have coming up this week. Um, we have the new technology Embosser webinar, which is going to be tomorrow, and the kind of the older technology, which is going to be on Wednesday. Um, the difference between those, probably one of the biggest differences, is the DPI. Um, so with the Elite, the Premier, the Spot Dot, um, and kind of the Rogue, because the Rogue is a V Plus Max replacement. So we can emulate that with the Rogue. You can do the 20 DPI, and that is a fixed grid dots per inch uh, that when it plots certain things like a diagonal line on the arrow that we have here, or the diagonal line on uh, the arrow here, or even curves on like a circle, because it's set to that fixed 20 DPI grid. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of a stair step, but it's very, very predictable. You know what you're going to get with that. And certain things like fill patterns are very, very smooth. So you'll see that, like with the arrow on, or the arrowhead on this arrow, all of the dots line up perfectly. And so it's very much in a grid. With the newer technology, we can go up to 100 DPI. So it has a 100 DPI grid, allowing you to place the dots anywhere within a 100 DPI grid, but it will keep them at a 20 DPI separation. So when you get diagonal lines, the lines are very, very smooth. There's no stair step. Circles are very round. But you'll start to see that, like the head of the arrow here, the dots are not aligned perfectly the way they are over on the 20 DPI grid. Some people love the 20 DPI. Some people love the 100 DPI. There is benefits to both. But those are probably two of the major differences between the technology of the newer machines and some of the older machines that we have. Traditionally, when we had the Tiger Dots, and the Tiger Dots printed into a steel platen, and because of the steel platen, it created a pyramid-shaped dot. And what that did was, we called that the Tiger Dot, and that has historically been what View Plus has been known for. The nice thing about the Tiger Dot is, because it is a pyramid, you can get the dots closer together. So for tactile graphics, this is fantastic. You can get more dots in a smaller space, allowing tactile graphics to be easier to read. And so the Tiger Dot has its definite benefits when it comes to tactile graphics. With that being said, it is kind of a different dot than what people are used to. So when we came out with the Columbia, we were trying really hard to get as close to a traditional Braille dot as we possibly could. And we came out with the Power Dot. And so that is on the Columbia and the Delta. We have the Power Dot. We also have the Embraille that has the same dot shape, but it's not quite as strong because the Columbia and the Delta have the solenoids punching into a cup, and so that punching into a cup makes a very crisp, clear round dot. So depending on whether you're looking for the pyramid dot, kind of focused on the tactile graphic, or the rounded dot, more focused on the Braille, we have a couple different options there. Again, all of these will print tactile graphics. All of them will print Braille. We have a lot of different machines that make some of them better for printing specific use cases. Next, we are the only embossers out there that have the option for any color or any ink with our embossers. Most embossers will do no ink. And with that, we do have several embossers. So we have the Embraille, the Rogue, the Elite, and the Premier without an ink connect, the Delta and the Columbia that all print no ink. And so that's kind of the industry standard, is to have no ink. But we do have the Elite with the ink connect, and the Premier with the ink connect that will do black ink only. And that is an attachment that you can add onto one of the production embossers. And then we also have the Spot Dot which takes that a step further and will do all-in-one color ink with tactile graphics uh, or Braille, all in one pass. We also have the Elite with the new Color Ink Connect that will do um, color ink or black ink all in one pass on our production level Elite embosser. Um, we did kind of develop something here a couple years ago, which we call two-pass printing, and that works on our cut sheet embossers. So primarily the Rogue sheet or the Delta. And what you can do is you can create, let's say that you're making this diagram of a cell. You can create that in, let's say, I think this was in Word. So being that Word is a standard program that can print to anything, you can print that to an ink printer. We use our office ink printer, and especially with the Rogue Sheet or the Delta, it's fantastic at printing on 11 by 17 size paper. That's a really standard paper size. I think it's called tabloid paper size. But we can print the ink to that, and then alignment is our alignment on the Braille and the tactile graphics. We have so precise that you can then load the ink paper in. The embosser doesn't know the difference of whether it has ink on it or not. And you can print ink from Word or whichever program you're using and send that to your embosser. And that will emboss over top of the ink, allowing for a two-pass ink and Braille solution, which is also a great option. So interline or overlay text. So depending on how you would like text to show up, again, this will work with the Spot Dot or one of the production embossers like the Elite or the Premiere with the Ink Connect on it. You can even do that with the Color Ink Connect on the Elite. Or you can do this with two-pass if you want to do this with two-pass. But you can put the text over top of the Braille, or you can put it above the Braille, and you have that setting here in your profile settings. So this will allow you to really set up the embosser to get exactly what you want when it comes to ink placement, things like that. With these, we do have a couple different options for single-sided or double-sided. So on the left here, we have, this is the Embraille, or an example of the Embraille. We also have the Rogue Track and Rogue Sheet that do single-sided, and the Spot Dot that does single-sided. With the two options on the right here, we have one option on the left, which is going to be either the Elite or the Premiere. So this is the Tiger Dot. You'll notice the dots are more of that pyramid shape. But this does two-sided with the Tiger Dot on a production embosser. And then we also have this either a Columbia or a Delta on the right side, which is the more traditional Power Dot doing double-sided. So we have options for single-sided or double-sided embossing. Also paper type. So we have a lot of different paper types all over the world. Primarily, we see a lot of tractor feed. Here in the U.S., internationally, we tend to see quite a bit of cut sheet. But the nice part is we have embossers that will do either version. So like the Columbia and the Delta, both very similar embossers. The primary difference is the paper type that you can use with them. The Rogue, so we have the Rogue Track and the Rogue Sheet. Again, very similar embossers. It just depends on the paper type. The Embraille is the only embosser that we have that will print on both. It primarily prints with the tractor feed paper, but you can load single sheets in with the Embraille. The production embossers obviously take tractor feed. So yeah, lots of different options between paper type.
We have a question in chat, which is any plans to produce a production embosser with support for cut sheet paper?
So we did have one at one point. We don't specifically have plans for that right now. I wouldn't rule that out completely. the thing about the cut sheet and the tractor feed paper that we have found is we see a lot of people that will load tractor feed paper in, and you get a box of 1,000 sheets, and you can hit print and just walk away, let it print without really having to monitor it all that much. But with cut sheet, there's only so much you can load in there. So unless you have like um, some sort of a paper feeder that will hold 1,000 sheets, it for production stuff we see a lot more demand for tractor feed paper. Um, we did have one at one point. It just most people found the tractor feed is uh, more desirable there. So print speed, we have a wide variety of print speed depending on the embosser that you're looking for. So we have everything from the Embrail, which is kind of our personal embosser at 25 characters per second, all the way up to the Elite, which is 200 characters per second. But most of the embossers are kind of the new technology, which we have sitting around 120 characters per second. This may seem kind of weird of um, the newer embossers having 120, whereas like the Premiere, which is a production level embosser, having 100 characters per second. The big difference is though the Premiere and the Elite are built for running a lot higher duty cycle. All of our embossers that we have are rated at about 1,000 pages per month, except for the Elite and the Premiere. Both of those are rated at 10,000 pages per month. So kind of here's the breakdown between the two different embossers. So hopefully that'll add a little bit of clarity there. But yeah, we'll go back to this one here. So spot dots at 50 characters per second. Most of the embossers you're going to see with ours are rated somewhere between 100 to 120 characters per second though. So let's start off with the Embrail. We'll go through each embosser and kind of go over what it was designed for, what it excels at, and we'll start with the Embrail here. So our Embrail is our kind of our entry level, low cost, compact embosser. We see this a lot for people that want an embosser for home. We also see this a lot for school districts that have several different schools that the TVI is traveling to, but they only have one embosser. So you can buy a case that we sell with this for a traveling case. So we do see that the embosser will get moved around. It is a very cute little embosser. So it weighs 11 pounds. The downside to this one is it does only print up to 8.5-inch wide paper. And it does only do 25 characters per second. But for the area that you're in, if for home use, that is a great spot for characters per second. And also if you're traveling a lot, the little bit slower speed is really the portability really outweighs the speed there. So it makes that a great embosser for traveling. This still does a very high quality single-sided braille and tactographics. You get the option with this one to do tractor feed paper primarily, but you can do a single cut sheet. And this does do 100 DPI, so you get that really high resolution with it. It's kind of a hybrid mix there where it still has the platen, but it is a polymer platen. So you get the full 100 DPI resolution. This does have the Tiger Plus graphics, and it is rated at 1,000 pages per month. So we have a couple different examples here of the Embrail. So you'll see the multi-dot here with the US map. We also have a sample here with Braille. We've got some different shapes on this one, and then this is just a page strictly with Braille on it. So great little embosser for either traveling, personal use, or a smaller school district that requires you to move between schools. The spot dot. The spot dot is interesting, and I like the spot dot, and people that have the spot dot tend to love the spot dot because this is a unique embosser that allows you to do ink, color ink, it does cut sheet paper. Um, it also has 300 dpi of so a higher resolution of color and black ink. It is rated at about 50 characters per second, but it does this all in one pass. So as you're creating your tactile graphics or your braille, this embosser makes it very, very simple to print. There's no two pass or anything like that. You create the tactile graphic, and when you hit print, you will get ink and tactile graphics and braille with the words over top of the braille. Um, so as far as ease of use, the Spot Dot is a really cool embosser. It is kind of in a class of its own. We don't have any other embossers that really fit this class, and so, well, like I said, the people that have this absolutely love it. Um, so, kind of in comparison to the Embraille here, everything you print is going to come with color ink on the Spot Dot. So when you start doing stuff like math, bar charts, or diagrams, um, you will be getting color ink, and you'll notice the dots line up here. This has the platen in it, and this has the 20 DPI. So you're going to get the perfectly lined up dots on here. So it's going to have that nice grid pattern, um, and great embosser. This is also fantastic. One of the things we see the Spot Dot used with is for students that are low vision, or students that we'll see, teachers that want to print text over the braille so that the teachers, uh, you know, can understand what the braille says. So we see this quite a bit, like over here on the diagram where it says style, and then also has the braille. It makes it very easy to have truly collaborative documents instead of just accessible documents, which is kind of the thing we're focusing on right now, is collaboration over just accessibility. Um, so yeah, Spot Dot's a great little embosser. It's been around forever. It's been tested, um, and people love the Spot Dot. The Columbian Delta. Um, so originally we came out with the Columbia first. The Columbias are our tractor feed embosser. The Delta is the cut sheet embosser. Um, these will both do single-sided or double-sided. These are some of the fastest embossers compared to what we've seen so far. 120 characters per second. They'll do about 400 pages per hour of A4 paper. Um, and then this will also do up to 100 DPI of tactile resolution. This was the revolutionary embossers that when we tried to redesign the way we were thinking and designing tactile graphics embossers, this is what we came up with. So being able to do away with the platen and create a moving solenoid and cup, or the cups and dies with the solenoid that would move together, this created the ability for us to have extremely high resolution to our tactile graphics and braille. And this is what gives the rounded dots on or the truly rounded tactile graphics, the diagonal lines that are perfectly smooth. These also take larger form paper, so these will go up to a 12-inch wide paper between either the Delta or the Columbia. So a lot of times we see, the 11.5 by 11. With the Delta, we print a lot on 11 by 17 paper, and that's a great spot to be in. For both of these embossers. This is the Tiger Plus technology, and both of these have the power dot on them. So if you were looking for double-sided, traditional braille dot, fast speed, there's really not much. Actually, I would argue that there's not an embosser out there that does a better job at that than the Delta or the Columbia, unless you're talking about the Irie Braille Track and Braille Sheet, or the Pixplaster, which is essentially the same as these embossers. Um, so both of these great embossers. And with the Delta, you get the two-pass method, or you get the possibility of doing two-pass method, so you can do color ink on tactographics with the Delta because of the cut sheet possibility. So these are all Delta samples. So on the left, this is what you're going to get directly out of the embosser by itself. So this is going to be just an embossed file. Looks like we have the US map there. The center one here, we have the volcano diagram that was printed on our office printer in ink, and then embossed with the Delta, which looks an awful lot like the spot dot because it is the two pass. With this one here, we did talk briefly earlier about different dot heights. So you'll notice with the gray here, we have higher dot heights on the dark gray and lower dot heights on the light gray. So this one is a two-pass method with the Delta. So you get the ink over here on the sunflower, same thing, two-pass method, but it has color pattern fill. So you'll notice the lines on the yellow are vertical, and then we have, I don't know what this pattern is officially called, but I like to call it the grass pattern because it's green, and it makes me think of grass, of just kind of the ground with little blades of grass sticking up. So some of the patterns we use are representative of the colors. So we have, there's a brick pattern for red, there's kind of a wave pattern for blue. I call this the grass pattern. I think yellow reminds me of sun rays. But all of those patterns are interchangeable. So if you have a different one, you can set up your own patterns. Color pattern fill is a very cool option. Again, this is available on every embosser that we have. The Elite and the Premier, these are the workhorses of our lineup. These are designed to print all the time. Primarily, the biggest thing between both of these is they are rated at 10,000 pages per month of a duty cycle. They both take continuous feed tractor paper, so great machines for setting a box of 1,000 sheets of tractor feed paper, hitting print and letting them work. They will do single-sided or double-sided. The Premiere is a little bit slower, so the Premiere we have rated at 100 characters per second. The Elite we have rated at 200 characters per second. These have the platen, so you're going to get the traditional 20 DPI, the super reliable technology that we've had for a long time, and you know exactly what you're going to get with the 20 DPI. So that's a good technology for an embosser that is designed to do production level prints. This one also does up to 12-inch wide paper, so we see a lot of 11.5 by 11 on the tractor feed paper. We do have some options for both of these for printing ink, which is fantastic. So the Ink Connect can go on either the Premier or the Elite, and that will do black ink only, and that will do 100 DPI of black ink only. We see that quite a bit for things that need printed that need to have something for both accessibility and people that don't read Braille. So sometimes if you need documents or something like that need verified of the contents of that, it prints both the ink and the ink and Braille. And if you only need black ink, the Ink Connect is a great addition. This year we came out with the Color Ink Connect, which is kind of the best of the best of, I don't know how many bests I can stack upon the Color Ink Connect, but it does go with just the Elite. We did that because the Elite is the perfect thing to pair with the Color Ink Connect. The Color Ink Connect is very fast. It has a very high 300 DPI, and yeah, it's the perfect pairing for that. We have a couple different examples here. On the left, we have the rainbow, which is on the Color Ink Connect with the Elite. And then we have below that just a standard Braille document. The middle and the right side is with the Ink Connect being just black. So if you need just black ink, you'll notice the text is not quite as crisp with the Ink Connect. It's still a very great printer, but the Color Ink Connect is definitely a leap in technology. Um, so if you need just black ink, the Ink Connect is a great option to go with either the Elite or the Premier. Um, so both great options for our production embossers. In the Rogue, I don't I don't print 10,000 pages a month, and I honestly I would the Rogue is one of our newest embossers, and I love the Rogue. I don't print double sided a whole lot, um, and the Rogue kind of went back to our roots of how we created tactographics. We have the new technology with the Rogue that gives you the 100 DPI that we found out from the Columbia and the Delta. So we have that great technology in there. I like the tiger dots. I like the tactographics. That's what I like to focus on. So I get the tiger dots, which allows the dots to be closer. Um, and with that being that it is a graphic focused machine, it only prints single sided. So you get the full speed of single-sided embossing. So it will, if you're printing tactographics and you want the tiger dot, you want the high DPI of 100 DPI, um, this thing is lightning fast for printing single-sided graphics with the tiger dot. And that's primarily what I find myself printing the most because I don't know, I like tactographics. So the Rogue's a great machine. Comes in two different versions. You can either do the stack cut sheet on the Rogue sheet, or you can do the continuous feed on the Rogue track. This still does Braille, and it still does it focuses on tactographics, but it still prints Braille. All of our machines will do both. And this one does 120 characters per second. So whereas the Columbia and the Delta print 120 characters per second between both sides, so it'll do two-sided printing. This does 120 characters per second on one side. So if you're just printing single-sided, this is twice as fast as the Columbia or the Delta. Again, same as Columbia Delta, rated at 400 pages per hour. And then this also does the 7 to 12 inch wide paper. I have the my primary embosser that I use is the Rogue sheet, and I like the 11 by 17 paper, and I don't mind doing the two-pass printing. But I will say we just came out with the Color Ink Connect, and that's probably going. I don't know. They're all great embossers for what you use it for. The other thing about the Rogue is that we used to have a V Plus Max, and that embosser was loved by a ton of people. And it was also heavily used for the Smarter Balanced program. There's a lot of files that were created for Smarter Balanced, and the Rogue replaced the Max. So it is backwards compatible. On one of the earlier slides, I said that the Rogue will print at 100 DPI or it'll print at 20 DPI. The Max, the technology we had in the Max printed at 20 DPI. So if you have old Max files that you've used for Smarter Balance, there's no need to like recreate that or anything. It is backwards compatible. It's very easy to switch that over. So it is a very versatile little machine. So some of the examples we have here. So these are all printed on two-pass method because the Rogue does not do ink. But with the two-pass, it allows you to have ink. So we have the snake here with different patterns, and with ink, we also have a little bit of Braille. Looks like the moon phases here, and you'll see the difference. This is the tiger dot on here. So some people love the tiger dot, some people like the power dot, and then we also have the respiratory system diagram that was done on the two-pass method as well. We have this listed on the website. So if you go to our website, we kind of have a cheat sheet. You can go into resources and the embosser selector guide. So depending on what you're looking for, this can help. help decide whether you're looking for tractor feed or sheet feed, a really high characters per second, ink option, no ink option. Um, this can help kind of break that down there. Uh, Also, we have a couple different ways to find out more information. So first of all, if you go to viewplus.com/request samples, um, you can request samples for any of the embossers and for any of the use cases that you're looking for. So we have like math, tactile graphics, braille, and so you can say, you know, I'm interested in the elite, and I want to see how it prints math, or I want to see how it prints braille, and we will send you samples specifically tailored for what you're looking for. So you can really experience this stuff hands-on before you buy an embosser. The other thing too is you can book a demo. So I do these webinars each week, but sometimes what questions you have might not be covered in here. So you can book a demo. This allows you to sign up for time on my calendar. I just did one here last Friday. Um, Somebody bought an embosser and they wanted to know how to get the most out of it. We also have when you buy an embosser, we have the option to do training. Um, and we tailored that for your specific embosser and use case. So yeah, demos, training. We want people to be able to get the most out of the embosser to where it makes it easy. We also have YouTube, where we have previously recorded webinars and tutorials. We have our newsletter, which is coming out with new updates and things like that. And also, you know, if you have questions on purchasing, you can email sales@ViewPlus. I will say one thing we don't have listed on here is the Tiger software suite that comes with all of these embossers. It's on our website, and you can download that for 30 days and use it completely unrestricted. There's no watermarks, there's no limited features or anything like that. It is the full release of the Tiger software suite. You get 30 days before you have to type in a activation code. Um, so one thing that I like to I I love to see it when somebody will download the Tiger software suite, play around with it, create their own tactile graphics. You can print a file of the tactile graphic that you've created, and then you can email that to me, um, and I can send you a copy of that back. So if you know if you have a document that you want to see what that's going to look like on a specific embosser, you can go through the complete process before you buy anything. Download the software, see what it's like to print. We'll put it in a pizza box. We call it a pizza box. It's a sample box. It looks like a pizza box when it shows up. It's kind of cool, and and you'll see exactly what it will look like when it shows up at um, when it shows up. You'll get to be involved in the whole process. So that is an option as well. Um, and yeah, for more in-depth information, we have the webinar tomorrow that's going to cover the new technology embossers. So that's the Rogue, the Columbia, and the Delta. And also we have the one on Wednesday, which is going to cover the Elite, the Premier, the Spot Dot, and the Embraille. All of these embossers have you know, a specific thing they do really well at. And not every embosser fits everybody's needs. So the whole point of this week is trying to figure out which embosser is best for you. Also, I don't know if anybody is going to ATIA, but we will be at ATIA. We will have all of our embossers there. So if you want to download TSS, print out samples, you can kind of get a good idea of what you would like to see, and then stop by the booth at ATA if you're there. You can be hands-on with it. We can print stuff out. We're embossers are usually running there, so you'll get the full experience of what it is to have a View Plus embosser.